Hey, good morning, family. Good morning, God's people. Hey, I wanted to pose a question this morning, and it was impressed upon me that I am currently living in the promises that God spoke over me before the beginning of time. The promises that my parents spoke over me. And I wondered, what if we actually believed what God said about us? How would we behave different? How would our lives dramatically change for the better if we lived as though we believed the good things that the Lord has spoke about us? If we believed that we were heirs to the throne of God in heaven, that we are joint heirs with Christ, if we believed that we were the head and not the tail, if we actually believed that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, if we actually walked around believing that we were princes and kings in a royal priesthood, chosen in Christ before the foundation of the world, what if we believed the things that were spoke about us? I remember today I have a ministry, a men's ministry called Move Care, and Move, MOVE, stands for Men of Valor Enterprises. And that name is not just a random name or a name that sounds cool, even though I think it is. But that name, a man of valor, is something that my mother has spoken over me and spoken about me as long as I can remember. And she never switched up on me. She never changed that. She told me in my rebellion, she told me in my sin, she told me in my shame that, Marcus, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you think, you are a mighty man of valor. You are a mighty man of God. You are a joint heir with Christ. You are the head and not the tail. You shall live and not die. I rebuke this addiction. I rebuke this homelessness. I rebuke this romantic way of thinking. I rebuke this rebellion, this denial of the truth of who you are in Christ. And she never stopped speaking that to me. And as much as she said it to me, it didn't take hold or didn't become true for me until I started believing that's who I am, until I started believing that's who I was called to be, and that's what I would end up being. And today, as I look back, I realize that I am living in that promise, that I am walking free, that I am living up to that call of God on my life. And it was spoken over me and to me by my mother for many years, for my entire life. She told me that's who I am and that's who I would be. I remember there was a time where a prominent pastor was shamed and held to account for some of his shortcomings. And I remember at a time when I was not walking with the Lord, that I used to hold that up as a reason not to fall in line and not to do what I knew the Lord had called me to do. And my mother spoke to me. She said, well, what about you? What about your shortcomings? What about where you've fallen short? What if you were held to the same standard as you're holding that man to? What would become of you? If God didn't have mercy and God didn't have grace on you, if he didn't care enough about you, worry about yourself, you better make sure that your calling and election is sure. You better make sure that your heart is right before God, before Judgment Day. You better make sure that you are seated with Christ in heavenly places before that great and dreadful day of the Lord comes. She said, I speak over you that you are a mighty man of valor. That's a promise that the Lord made to my mother, that your children, your seed shall be called children of the living God. That all of your children will profess the name of the Lord. That bring up a child in the way that he should go, and in the end he will not depart from it. Those promises, man, that the Lord made, they're true whether we believe it or not. They stand firm whether we believe it or not. I say, don't stop speaking life over to your children. Don't stop speaking the truth to your seed, because it will surely come to pass.